really, this is all about Europe, it's about jobs, it's about unemployment, it's about maybe a recession. Here's the number. We came in at 9.1% unemployment. That was the rate that was announced about 90 minutes ago. The economy, though, well, basically that remains pretty stagnant. And I'm saying that President Obama can't do much about it, if anything. What do you say, Monica Crowley?
Well, you know what? There's been a lot of talk this morning when this number came out that 9.1, well, we're going in the right direction. We went from 9.2 to 9.1. But how horrifying is that, Stuart, that this is now the new normal, that 9.1% unemployment is considered relatively good news? Keep in mind that when we had the Reagan recovery, Stuart, we had GDP growth rates between 7 and 9%. OK, every quarter. We also had new job creation at the level of 300 to 500,000 new jobs a month. We are nowhere near either of those markers in this so-called recovery. And now it looks like we could be headed to a double dip.
I think go on.
No, I was just to give you some positives here. I mean, the idea we're talking to cover the New York Times this morning saying a double dip recession possible. Are those fears now eased a little bit because we've seen these numbers? The numbers that scare me, though, the amount of people who have been unemployed for 6 months or longer. Those numbers coming out this morning from the Wall Street Journal. And you look at those people, 6 months or longer unemployed, 6 million Americans who can't find work and who are actively looking for work.
Let me add one more number in here. I hate numbers, but this is a good one. 200,000 people dropped, 193,000 people to be precise, dropped out of the labor force. 193 out. Now, that has a difference to the unemployment rate.
That's exactly right. And that's why we're seeing the rate technically come down over the last month, because so many people are dropping out of the labor force. Actually, right now, only 58% of working age Americans have jobs. The labor participation rate is now the lowest that it's been since January of 1984. Okay. That is horrifying.
Let's bring in Alan Colmes, shall we? But let me do the introduction. Let me do the introduction properly. According to the liberal left, the Tea Party is now to blame for the economic crisis in America. New York Times columnist Maureen Dowd calls Tea Party people cannibals, vampires, and zombies. And that's after Vice President Biden and some other cable news anchors on other channels keep referring to the movement as a movement of terrorists.
But Biden didn't say that.
I haven't introduced you yet. Fox News radio host Alan Colmes.
Can I talk now?
Yeah. Now, wait a second. Look, here's my position. Now, you've got to listen to this.
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay. President Obama is boxed into a policy corner. His policies to get the economy moving have failed. There's not much that he can do now. He's not going to get a big new stimulus program through Congress. That's not going to happen. So what does he do? He lashes out and beats up on the opposition. And that's what you're about to do as well, is it not, Mr. Colmes?
Well, you don't need me. You know what I'm going to do.
Well, go ahead, say it.
Well,
you are going to attack him, aren't you?
Well, didn't we just find... Well, thank you for the wonderful introduction and telling people what I was going to say. But didn't we find out just a week ago that the dip, that the ditch was much bigger than we thought it was, that the Bush recession was much worse than we thought it was, and that the hole we had to get out of was much deeper than we thought it was? How much... And you had a very good point.
Oh, I'll raise that. Let me answer that one for you. The bigger the dip, the sharper the coming out of the dip should be. That's exactly what Ronald Reagan did.
As you just said, though, how much can a president do? Really? What can a president do?
Oh, I'll tell you what he could do.
Didn't the CBO show that...
Get out the way.
Didn't the CBO show that the stimulus did work, that it created 1 million to 1.5 million jobs? I mean, you wanted to say it didn't work. I'm with Paul Krugman on this, who I know you agree with on everything. We should have had a bigger stimulus. We need to pump more money in the economy. We need a works progress.
So that is your position. Alan Colmes would now like another big new stimulus program, at least $1 trillion.
Yes.
It will be an infrastructure kind of program.
I would love to have built infrastructure.
Shovel-ready stuff.
You put people. I know shovel-ready's become a big joke, sadly. But we need to put people to work. And the way to do it is to... the government is one of the only instruments that can shove money into the economy.
So, I'll contest that one. But look, you want another $1 trillion borrowed by the federal government.
Yes, because you make it back.
Because you make it back.
Unlike going to wars like Bush did, that's money that you actually make back.
But you know that's not going to happen. The House would never go for it.
Of course they wouldn't. That's why Obama did as much as he could do with a bunch of blue dog Democrats and Republicans who would not let him do more.
It's
Monica,
amazing.
help me out here.
Yes, it's amazing that the left is arguing for more spending when we are in the midst of a catastrophic debt crisis. Government does not create jobs. The private sector creates jobs and prosperity. What we have had over the last 3 years is this administration and Democrats in Congress have spent us into a Keynesian coma. Oklahoma. We now know that the experiment does not work. We have had a massive expansion of government, record-breaking deficits in debt, unprecedented spending, and socialized medicine. That's why you have the disastrous economy
the government hasn't taken over medicine. That's
now
unfair.
listen to this. Just listen to this one for 1 second. Looking for a big jobs program, big jobs idea. Is that what you're looking for from President Obama? Now, you'll have to settle for a new plan that he's going to unveil in about 1 hour from now. It's called the Returning Heroes Tax Credit. He's going to announce it in 1 hour. What he's going to do is offer companies $2,400 worth of tax credits for hiring a vet who's been unemployed for a short period of time, and $4,800 worth of tax credit if you hire a long-term unemployed veteran. The president says he's hoping to get 100,000 people hired because of this, with this program. That's the program being offered by the president in about 52 minutes.
Well, he's doing what he can.
Doesn't amount to a whole hill of beans, does it?
Well, I don't know.
He's wrapping himself in the flag.
Why are you deciding? It's okay for right-wingers to do that, but the president
That's
can't
exactly what he's doing.
Wait a minute. So wait a minute. So the president, who really doesn't love America, here he is going against type and wrapping himself in the flag. That's the subtext of what you're saying.
I didn't say
How
that.
dare he? Next he's going to wear a flag pin and you go after him for that.
The day after a panic crash, a virtual crash, the president goes out there and wants more unemployment benefits for veterans, and that's why he's wrapping himself in the flag. That's all he's got to offer.
But you people, and I say that lovingly, love tax credits.
There is one other thing which the president wants. He wants to streamline the patent processing business.
Good.
Now, that's going to make a difference, ain't it, Alan?
You know, well, there are a lot of things the president does. I mean, okay, so that's not the only thing he's doing. Let's find a little minute thing he's doing, like streamlining the patent processing system.
You admit it's minute.
And let's just make... Well, you're picking one out of many things that he's doing. It's like, well, why is he doing that when he...
He was hammered yesterday. He was hammered yesterday by Jake Tapper.
No matter what he does.
But during the press conference, he was hammered by Jake Tapper. Jay Carney was hammered by Jake Tapper and asking him for specifics. And he sort of laughed it off. But this deals with the heart of the issue here. And Charles Krauthammer last night laying out that the president has already done a lot of these things. We have the payroll tax. We have the extension. We have the trade policies. There's very little left on his clipboard that's available.
Can I respond, though, to something Monica said, which was going on about, oh, you know, we need to get out of the way. We were told during the Bush administration, if we just get lower taxes, we'll get all these jobs. If the government, we're still working under the Bush economy.
Yes, we did.
Bush had a terrible job creation record.
No.
George W. Bush had one of the worst job creation
You're picking the time frame.
Alan, let me just correct the record. After both waves of the Bush tax cuts, we had 53 consecutive months of job creation and economic growth.
But the numbers they really paled in comparison to what Bill Clinton did.
Unemployment under President Bush was between 4% and 5%.
I'd like to keep it